Hi there, my name's Ian Small and I volunteer at Severndroog Castle on Shooters Hill in the Royal Borough of Greenwich, and every day during the online Severndroog Festival I'll be presenting different talks about aspects of Severndroog Castle from here in the castle forecourt. And today I'm going to talk about the battle that gave the castle its name. The castle is a memorial to Commodore Sir William James, the victor of the Battle of Severndroog, and it was commissioned by his widow Anne in 1784, after his sudden death the previous year. The Battle of the Fortress of Suvarnadurg, or Severndroog, took place on the 2nd of April 1755 on an island some 80 miles or 130 kilometres south of Mumbai, or Bombay as it was called then, and essentially it was a battle between the East India Company and one of the powerful local Indian princes over control of access to the west coast of India, the part of the west coast of India known as the Cancun. The company had been granted the port of Bombay after it became an English possession. It was previously Portuguese and was part of the dowry of Catherine of Braganza when she married King Charles II in 1662. And it was handed over to the company, and they set about making it a major trading and industrial base. And their private navy, the Bombay Marine, was based there. There have been a number of incidents of piracy along that coast of India, and not all of the pirates were local by any means. In fact, one of the most notorious was Captain Kidd, who'd come all the way from Scotland and was eventually executed as a pirate in 1701. Local rulers had their own navies to protect the coast and collect revenues from ships passing through their territorial waters, which they were perfectly entitled to charge for. The most powerful of these in the early 18th century was Commodore Angria, who established his base at Severndroog. He became an admiral for the Marathas, a rather loose confederacy that ruled that part of India. The East India Company dismissed anyone who interfered with trade in any sort of way as a pirate, and soon developed a hostility to Commodore Angria. For his part, he, as I said, he was continued to entitled to charge for passes for safe passage along the coast, and had stopped ships and seized cargoes accordingly from people who didn't comply. Unable to tolerate this, a series of conflicts between the company and Angria ensued, lasting over the course of many years, up until the time that Commodore Angria died in 1729 and was succeeded by his son Tulagi, who carried on with the business as he was entitled to, and he fell foul of the Marathas, who changed sides and allied themselves with the English. William James came onto the scene in 1750, and I'll talk more about him in another session. At the time, he was Commodore of the Bombay Marine at the relatively early age of 33. Unlike his predecessors, he was an experienced and professional sailor, and he commanded ships which were built for war. Throwing caution to the wind, James decided to attack Severndroog in April 1755. Angria had a main fort on the island, about a quarter of a mile out to sea, and 3 forts on the shore. James took a great risk placing his ships between the island and the shore, and they could have easily run aground. They spent the morning bombarding the 4 fortresses, and by noon the storeroom on the island had caught fire, and the bombardment prevented the defenders from extinguishing the fire, which spread to a gunpowder magazine, and the place blew up. And that basically was the end of a rather improbable battle, in which very few English lives, if any, were lost, but more than 1,000 Indians were taken prisoner. James was fated as a hero, and Tulagi Angria fled. He was captured, imprisoned by the Marathas shortly before the battle at Jiraiya the following year. William James then supported Robert Clive as the East India Company landed and seized the strategic coastal settlement, and the rest, as they say, is history. Within 2 years, most of India was under the company's control, and this lasted for another century until Queen Victoria's government took over. The Battle of Suvarnadurg only gets passing mention even in English history books, but its chilling legacy was literally to leave the coast clear for English colonisers and all that entailed. Tulagi Angria ended his days in prison, and William James returned to England to much greater things, but that is a story for another day.